See, this is the thing about Project Epoch. All right, Project Epoch. It's not. How do I say this right? It's not a secret that the Project Epoch devs are not very good when it comes to the development side or the server side of and running smooth servers with lots of people on them side of making an MMORPG. Okay, everybody knows that. It was obvious after the very first day. Okay, but what happened was a lot of people, I feel, were unfair to Project Epoch, and they started saying things like, oh, they did this on purpose, this game is a scam, which really bothered me when people started calling Epoch a scam, because what are they scamming you out of? Your time? What do they care about your time? That would be them scamming themselves out of time, because they've spent literally thousands of hours of their own real life time to deprive you of 2 days of yours. And you're only dumb if it deprives you of any more than that. If something deprives you of 2 days of your life trying to get in a server, and you're still like one of these poor guys that I see every day on Twitch, like day 12, Project Epoch, and then you go to their stream and it's sitting in the freaking in the login screen, day 13, Project Epoch, and you go to their thing, still sitting in the same exact screen. Hey guys, day 14, Project Epoch, and still in the same screen. Like, my goodness, are you really, is this what you have to offer your community? Is a starting screen of an MMO that's literally not even playable? So, I mean, honestly, if you're in that situation, I don't have any, I don't believe that they did you wrong. I believe that you're doing yourself wrong. It's like, fool me once, shame on you, right? Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, what's fool me 14 times? What's fool me 14 days in a row? You know, at some point you got to kind of just like say, all right, enough is enough. I'm going to move on. I'm going to play something else. And if and when Project Epoch is in a stable playing state, and people have been playing it without issue for a week, then I'll give it a try. Why not do that? Why be like, oh my God, it's live, it's freaking live, which is what happened yesterday. Everybody freaked out because they thought the game was live. And then when the server could not handle the players logging in, the server crashed. And Project Epoch did not announce that they were putting the servers up for this specific reason, because they didn't know what was going to happen. And when the servers came down, Project Epoch, well, clearly you guys noticed that, you know, the servers came up. Well, that was by design. We were trying to test a couple things. No, you were not. If the servers ran perfectly, you would have not have brought them down, okay? Or you would not have left them down. They're down because you guys realize that there are issues that you do not know how to deal with, and they still have to move forward on them, which is totally fine. The issue, in my opinion, was saying that, oh, this was by design. We were just trying to test something. If you were trying to test something out, you would have stated specifically on the Discord, guys, we are bringing the server up just to test. If you can log in, it's going to be a short while, but it would really help us out. But the servers will not be playable today for a long period of time. That's what it should have been. And none of that stuff would have happened. Instead, people are freaking out about Project Epoch and all this stuff about like, oh, you know, they lied to us, and this is the final nail in the coffin, and all this crazy stuff. I'm dead. Oh, wow. No, I didn't. That's pretty cool. All this crazy stuff. All right. Which is, I mean, in this situation, I kind of think it's fair because of the fact that clearly this was not something that was a test, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but a lot of people saying things like, you know, Project Epoch is a scam, and they don't update on us on anything, and they're liars, and they're this and they're that. Like, seriously, those types of people, you've got to get a life, dude. You've got to get a life. You've got to go out there, you know, chase some booty, Go do something else in your life that gives you a little bit more like meaning to your day, so that you don't feel like you have to crap all over a game that literally owes you nothing. Okay, that owes you absolutely nothing. So that's kind of where I am on the Project Epoch thing. I think people have been completely unfair. At the same time, I believe that what they did yesterday was unfair. Two things can be right at the same time, in my opinion. And that's kind of where I am on the Project Epoch thing. You know, give me a second. I'll read some of the stuff that you guys put in chat. All right, let me see what I missed. People donated money already. Over 300 people donated. That's nothing. Over 300 people donating is not a scam. It's just not. You know, if you think it's a scam, create your own MMO, get 300 people donate, and tell me that was worth your time. Okay, that's not a thing. Yes, Sokins, I believe it's definitely mismanaged. So the whole "it's free" is not true. It is true. It is free. It is a free to play game. Just because 300 people have chosen to donate, that, in my opinion, donating for something that's not even ready to play in a stable, that's your fault, not theirs, in my opinion. And if I was them, if I was Project Epoch, I would have refunded all that money, personally. Fear not, they wasted thousands of hours of people's time. They wasted more hours of their own. It is valuable for people. I'd rather burn $15 than 5 hours of my time. I completely agree with you on that, Sokins. Time is money. Straight up, time is money, but it's not like they did it intentionally. And that's what's important. People have to understand, just because you do something, just because something happens, does not mean that was the intended consequence, or that was the intended, Oh, look at this. Look at that person trying to steal my enemy. You're not gonna even help me kill it. Damn hunters. Just like a hunter. Am I gonna get this one? Yes, it's mine. Yeah, just because some people were deprived, or let's be honest, thousands of people, me included, were deprived of time in their real life, does not mean that was by design. Okay? And I feel like that's at least fair. People can make mistakes, right? But it's not like people have not gotten plenty of notice that this game is not in a playable state, and the team is not really necessarily in the know of how to fix said state. Okay, since this game, if anybody wants some busy work right now while I kill some spiders, you can go on the Discord for me and see how many updates there has been between the launch day and today. I'll bet you there's over 60 updates in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I guarantee that, you know what? I guarantee you there's been over 100 updates. So you can't really say that it's not obvious that they don't know what they're doing. Or at the best, they're in very, very uncharted territory. Okay? And I don't say this to bash on the community, on the manager, the developers. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't say this to bash on the developers. I say this just because it's a reality. It's an objective reality that I see, right? I just think they didn't expect the amount of players at launch, but that's surprising as well, because Discord, the thing about that is the majority of those people that joined like literally the last 4 days. The last 4 days, this game exploded. Like, as Taki, bro, this game was not even on my radar. I played the alpha and I was not impressed by what I saw. I ran Dead Mines, I ran Wailing Caverns, I did some more of their stuff. I was not impressed, okay? Frankly, everything I saw, I thought Turtle WoW was better. I just thought that the coolest thing that I saw in it was me putting my standard in the ground as a human. I thought that was cool, and I thought being able to ride on that little cart around Elwyn Forest and stuff, I thought that was really cool. I like the way Goldshire looked, but they didn't really seem to do anything with it. But then again, it was alpha, okay? But what I saw, I wasn't impressed with. I thought Turtle WoW was like miles beyond where they were. Of course, it was an alpha, right? So that's just the way I saw it. I just think that they didn't expect Discord numbers. No, they did fine. That's why they paid websites to promote it. They paid people to promote it, but they didn't expect for this kind of promotion, dude. You know, there's other servers that promote their game and they don't get this kind of a reception. Okay, people are freaking promoting their games all the time, and this does not happen. So I wouldn't say it's just that. They promoted it through the right people. It was literally a perfect storm that came together that I don't think that they imagined was going to happen. I didn't imagine it was going to happen. I don't imagine that still people are freaking like literally, it's like the next great thing in World of Warcraft private servers. I still don't understand why people are like that with this game. It doesn't make sense. You have seen nothing to lead you to believe that. Absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? But I will say, when you say it wasn't just random streamers trying to make a name for themselves off the server to get big, I think that is a big thing with a lot of the servers that are streaming nothing, where you go to their stream and it's just like the login screen, day 25, Project Epoch, you know, like, where are they going to be next year, dude? Day 365, Project Epoch. You know what I mean? They haven't shaved in a year. I was like, bruh. Hey, babe, can you hook me up? You know, iced tea. Can you bring the thing of iced tea for me? Thanks. Okay, guys, I'm getting to these comments. I promise you I'm getting to these comments. There's a lot of them, and I keep stopping to kill spiders, and there's more comments, all right? They shouldn't have added new shit to a server that is a mess. It's just common sense. Yeah, honestly, I agree to that. And at the same time, I think that this is one of the things, in my opinion, about polling the community. This is one thing that really bothered me that they did, was they polled the community on the direction that they going forward once they believed the server was in a stable place to go forward. They polled the community on their next step. You guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, I am 100% against polling the plebs. You never ask what they want, because you're gonna get a response that's not thought out. You're gonna get a response that is based off of what's gonna be best for them, what they want to see, not what is best for the community. That is your job as a leader, to lead your community based on your vision, and then you take and you pay attention to how people respond to your vision and you adjust accordingly. But creating extra zones for, you know, the trolls and for the gnomes to start at, when, you know, what are you gonna do? Split the human race by male and female? You know, you're gonna put the males start here and the females start here. I mean, Elwyn Forest is already gonna get screwed. You know, the undead area is gonna get screwed. The Mulgore is gonna get screwed. So what is separating those two races gonna do? At the end of the day, what is separating those two races? What did you actually achieve? Really not much. So it's probably a really bad idea. You caused more trouble than you cured, in my opinion. Okay? Yeah, when they decided to fix stuff, they shouldn't have said, we are going to take 2 weeks to fix the servers. That giving any kind of time frame when you have, really honestly, when you're a new territory, in my opinion, honestly, is an L. I agree with you on that. You know what? Before I finish the rest, it's hard to read that statement. It's really hard to read that. I will say this, what I found really interesting. I watched a video that was made, and it was an interview with K-Totes, I think. It wasn't really a good interview. Like, the guys that were giving the interview kept on interrupting it. It was really hard to get through, which is why I did not, post my reaction to it or me going over it, was because it was very, very hard to get through. It was a really bad interview. But he did say something, and he did say something that was very clear to me, and it prompted me to tell my girlfriend to create your account right now and create your character, okay, and myself as well. It was when he said specifically, I will, and you can go back to this when they're talking about the server, I will be fine if many of you never get a chance to play it.
I don't want to be a turtle with multiple realms in multiple regions and chasing, we've got the most player count. I am completely fine if some of you never get to play.
Once he said that, I knew he was going to shut down creation. He was going to shut down all accounts on it. I knew it was going to happen. And this was days before the server even launched. Thank you, babe. This was days before the server even launched. And I went to the living room and I said, hey, babe, you got to create a character right now on Project Epoch. If you ever want to play that game, I'm going to do it too right now. I'm going to download it and create my character, because I promise you when the game launches, they're going to shut down account creation. They're going to just flat out shut it down. And the game hadn't even, this is it. This is also 2 days before launch. This is 2 days before launch. And I already knew this was, they hadn't even announced the new server yet. They hadn't announced the new PvP server when I said this. Okay? This is how obvious it was to me that this was gonna happen. Yeah, Project Epoch had way too many cooks in the kitchen, but only a head cook knew what was going on. Saw CM, even other devs were not on the same page, and that's why they had a staff meltdown in X. And yeah, you know, that was really, I did see somebody's post the other day. I got to see if I can find it because I want to read it. I want to read and I want to talk about it for a few seconds. Right here. This is by Kess. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I'm going to say it's by Kess, okay? I used to chat with the community quite a bit, and it was good to hear people's thoughts. There are a lot of valid and fair criticisms the last 2 weeks. Now that we are finally closing out the last tasks before bringing the servers up, I wanted to check on the new Discord bot and the CMs. They've done a heroic task trying to help the community while they had little extra insight into the work behind the scenes. But gosh, when I opened Discord and this is the first post that greets me, it does not make me wonder, or it makes me wonder what we are doing this all for. The comment made that says, just use my 2-hour cooldown to say these devs suck. That was his contribution to the community. So I don't, and I'm not done reading his response yet. I'm not confused by this response. I'm just confused about this response being actually typed and then hitting enter on it, you know? But I'll get to that in a second. I think many people are under the impression we are part of some larger group or have some weird agenda, which I completely understand what he's saying there. That we are trying to pull one over on you and you're so afraid of getting got that you have to lash out or something. I don't know. All I really know is that I and my fellow staff members have put blood, sweat, and tears in this effort for 4 years, entirely volunteered, and that we are close to hopefully getting things working. All the vitriol, well, it isn't great for my mental health. I'm sure you're all going to tear this post apart, circulate it around Reddit and 4chan. People will DM me more death threats, yada yada. But I'm really sad, guys. I'm really sad that I feel unwelcome and ostracized in my own community. Okay, I don't blame him for feeling that way, and I agree with him on almost every single thing he said there. And I think that the community can be absolute crap. Now, my response to that is ban the person who said something, who made that comment. Ban them, ban their account, ban them on everything that has anything to do with Turtle WoW if you're able to. Anybody that makes comments like that, ban them too. Control your community, in my opinion. Control the community and the people that are part of your community. If you allow the trolls in, you can't be surprised when they turn the rest of your community into trolls. You have to control the trolls. And also, this goes to the whole responding to it bit, right? You don't respond to the trolls because once you do, you have given them more agency to carry on being trolls. You have given them what they seek from you, which is validation that they even exist. You know, so that's very, in my opinion, you never, ever, ever, you know, talk to trolls and you never poll the freaking plebs. All right. You are the leader. You make the decisions in your community. People live by it. That's just my opinion. I don't know if you guys agree on that, but that's my opinion. You gotta have some thicker skin if you want to be a community moderator in Classic WoW. Private servers, to be fair. You do have to have thick skin. Honestly, if you are somebody, and this goes to the whole mental health comment, I'm not knocking homeboy for or homegirl, I don't know, for their mental health issue. Okay? Absolutely not. However, if you do have a history with mental health, or you currently do have mental health issues or problems, being a Discord community moderator is not a right fit for you. Flat out. Being on Reddit is the last place you should be. Honestly, you shouldn't even have a Facebook account. You shouldn't even be on Instagram, in my opinion. Okay? That's just my opinion when it comes to stuff like that, because the internet is harsh, it's brutal, it's unforgiving. And if you do not have a thick skin, in my opinion, you don't belong anywhere near that. And I don't mean to say that to make anybody feel ostracized. It's just, you have to do what's going to be good for your soul. And I rarely go on Reddit because I can't stand the people that are on Reddit. I think the majority of people on Reddit are just, it's a spot for trolls, and I'm not interested. I'm not interested in what people think, you know, that are on Reddit. I don't care about Redditors. I'm not interested. I don't want to be part of that. And I don't have mental health issues. And maybe that's why, because I stay away from stuff like that, you know? I find it pretty crazy how people are comparing Turtle WoW, a working server, to Epoch, based on Copium. Like, you're right. I think it's an unfair comparison, but the only reason why the comparison is being made, I think, and why I make the comparison, is because people are playing or wanting to play Project Epoch so bad when there is an alternative that is already working perfectly, and frankly, just a better alternative in almost every single way. Even a lot of people say, oh, the client. Bruh, the client is not that big of a deal. It is not when they're already creating a whole new client. When they're gonna launch a whole new client in a matter of months, the client currently is not a big deal, in my opinion. You know, there's a lot of doom and gloomers about the client. Bruh, wait a few months and it'll be fixed. That's just my take on the whole client thing, you know? The client sucks. I'm getting 30 frames per second in Stormwind with 1,000 dudes, but it is what it is. Exactly, it is what it is. You just accept it. You know, you play the game for what it is. You enjoy what you're able to enjoy. And once the client is fixed, you will enjoy it even more. That's the way I look at it. That's absolutely the way I look at it, you know? But it is hard to compare the two, but there's nothing else to compare it to, because Turtle WoW and Project Epoch take two different roads, right? Project Epoch says, I'm gonna take what already exists and I'm gonna modify it because I think I'm better. You know, Turtle WoW says, I love what I see here. I love what you guys did there. So I'm gonna add to it based off of the lore that you have given us to work with, right? I am going to add these NPCs to this beautiful area that you created. I am going to add a few, rooms to this dungeon and rooms to this dungeon. I'm going to add this to this to that. Where you started to do something here but never finished it, I will go ahead and finish it. That's what Turtle WoW does. What Project Epoch does is they take what's already there and they basically put on a new coat of paint on it, right? So it's not really a Classic Plus experience. It's a classic rework, right? It's a classic rework. There's more content in Turtle WoW. There's way more content in Turtle WoW 2. But that's not to say that there's not a lot of content in Project Epoch, right? Project Epoch has a ton of content. And let's be fair to Project Epoch. If it ever launches, it's going to launch with way more content than Turtle WoW launched with. I believe it's going to launch with way more content than Turtle WoW launched with. Turtle WoW took time to get to where it is today. Like I think I'm being pretty fair to Project Epoch. I don't try to bash them on, you know, on the way they've handled things. I think they've handled things kind of, in my opinion, with the normal mistakes. I think that they have handled things pretty freaking rock solid, or not rock solid. They've handled things pretty well, based on what they created. Okay. And based on what's being given to them. I think they handled things pretty well. Now, would I have done things differently? I don't know, because I don't know anything about game development. Straight up, I don't. So it's hard for me to sit here and critique people on what I don't know about. And I wish more people would be honest about that, because you have all these people that are fake developers who believe that they know something about these types of things, though they've never done it. Or, you know, they know someone, you know, or they've done this or that, but nothing that they could ever really point to. So, I mean, I honestly believe staying away from those people is the best thing. And don't listen to people like that for your information. And definitely, in my opinion, try not to hang out too much with people that are like, hey, day 25, Project Epoch, because, I mean, that's not going to be good for your soul either. If you're like that and like your whole entire future of your streaming career is based off of one game, bruh, come on, you know?